that. Hello, my name is Alun, and today I'm facilitating the second of five sessions of my own hacking together of assorted games. You want to hear the detail? Go back to session one, into a game that I'm calling Uncharted Stars, a PBTA game, and we are playing as part of the Open Hearth gaming community's monthly calendar. Search Open Hearth, come join us. And we are playing within that community's code of conduct, which is great. We're also playing with some layered safety tools. And again, I'm not going to go into any detail about those. Go back to section one if you want to hear more about what we're using and why. All these players are familiar to me and to the Open Hearth and to safety tools. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But I would like to give our players an opportunity just to say hello. I think I started on the far left last time, so I'll start on the far right this time. Keith, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and just give us a kind of the elevator pitch for Pleasant Guzan.
I am Keith. I use the he, him pronouns, and I am playing Pleasant Guzan, who uses they or any old pronoun. They were part of the blue-collar labor in a fines logistics mine, found a better way to do things, and was basically put on the payroll to shut up about that, and did not. And now, for completely unrelated reasons, is running around with this bunch of miscreants, creating trouble throughout the cluster.
Indeed so. Let's move along. Paul, say hello, and what's the elevator pitch for Jort?
Hello, I'm Paul, he, him, and the character I'm playing today is Jort, also he, him. He's a massive hulking character from a high gravity world with a penchant for showing his bare chest at any given opportunity. And Jort is an escaped slave that we may find out a bit more about later today.
Sorry, I meant to put the pictures up so as we went along. Lowell, say hello, and elevator pitch for
Okay.
Bryzantimus Show.
Yeah, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and I'm running Bryzantimus Show, or Bryz, he, him pronouns. I have that lovely combination of influential world, so high money world, combined with military and commercial. And I think my pitch line is, I kill oligarchs. That is my raison d'etre, or however you say that with any kind of French accent. That is what I am up to.
Having been infected pre-game.
Yes, with an empathy virus. That is, I have the last little bits of that.
Yeah, I mean, the influential capitalists, they don't like that. Okay. And then finally, Horse, say hello, and give us an elevator pitch for Paxed Bransom.
Hello, Horst, he, him. I'm playing Dr. Paxed Bransom, who comes from a world where a scientific religious organization have destroyed all the planets, and the people now live in hub worlds, like in spaceships, gigantic spaceships, and they are also harnessing some unholy power. And I was not okay with this, left, and now I'm a heretic.
Indeed so. And also big on collars. I do need to check whether that picture of Paxed over there is that the kind of priesthood ceremonial clothing, or is that his choice of leisure?
I think that is the official religious clothing that he still wears for nostalgic reasons.
Great. Well, we might need to work out a bit more about that, because you're about to visit his homeworld, where, as you say, you are a heretic. I explained to the players beforehand that I want to fill in a couple of gaps in terms of relationships with various factions that we created last time. So the factions tab gives you some indication of where these start. So you have a choice, okay? You can be loyal to one faction or remain independent and spread your relationships. And as it says on that tab, if you choose to be loyal to one faction, that faction, you end up with 3 debts to them and being owed 1 favor by them. If you go for the option to be independent of all factions, then you begin play by allocating those 3 debts wherever you like. You can still put them in one place if you want to, and having one favor to a different faction than the one you owe a debt to. So you can't owe both a debt and a favor to the same one if you're independent. Does that make sense as a kind of as a clarification? Because then what I'd like to do is to ask you to think about where you want to put your thinking. I'm gonna stick with coming to Keith and Pleasant first. What do we think? Is Pleasant loyal to one of those factions? I mean, we've got the True Path, the authoritarian government. We've got the Shattered Sphere, which are the techno priests. We've got the One Sky Syndicate, a rebel group trying to overthrow the influential capitalists. The Hub Slipstream Authority, who is the central governing body for this cluster of 7 worlds, 7 systems. The Sword Brotherhood, pirates from the same system as where Jort escaped, though they are not the slave keepers. And Fines Logistics, the company that we heard Keith talk about with relation to Pleasant. So what do you think, Keith? Is Pleasant loyal to anyone or independent?
I think independent.
Fair enough.
I'm poking around at the debts. I know I want the favor for the research co-op.
Oh, I forgot about IBD research. Yeah.
And I'm taking a look at where the debts make sense.
Okay. What about Jort? Now, let me check in here. I mistakenly called him Jord some of the time last week, and I heard you describe him as Jort today. How do you want to go with this? Oh, you are muted, Paul.
It depends from where you come from in the cluster.
Oh, of course it does. Of course it does. Yeah,
Jort
fine.
is fine, or Jort is fine. Either's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he's no fool, so he can probably write it down. So what are you thinking? Loyal to one or independent and spread your debts in favor about?
I'm going to go loyal to the Sword Brotherhood.
Oh, that's interesting, because you saw off a group of them last time.
I did. It's quite a nebulous faction. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you will have one favor and 3 debts to them. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Then Bryz, what about you?
I think I'm going to go with loyal to the One Sky Syndicate.
Okay, so not just rebelling against the family and its financial interests, but actually loyal to the rebels seeking to overthrow or to do whatever those rebels are currently trying to do. Okay.
I think as much the debts are the fact that they do not trust me, and I've got a lot to prove.
Fine. And then Pax, what are you thinking? Clearly unlikely to be loyal to the Shattered Sphere, given that you are badged a heretic.
So given that I am a heretic, don't I have to at least put betrayed or no?
I'm not going to. We may end up there by the end of today's session, given you're going there. But I think at the moment I'm prepared to let that one sit.
Okay. Let me have a quick look. Where are the cluster? Obviously, there was this group of specialists. Can you say something about them?
The IBD research co-op.
The Vienna's logistics.
Oh, Fines Logistics.
Fines.
Oh, the Fines. Yeah. Okay. Well, apart from the fact that Pleasant is very much not happy with them, it says there they are well represented across the cluster, so they are probably the industrial power across the cluster. And they want to consolidate control of a valuable commodity. Now, what that commodity is, we do not yet know.
And the IBD research co-op?
Okay, they are known across the cluster, in as much as I think their reputation in certain circles, probably the kind of circles you moved in before you left.
Yes.
Because research, advancement, all of that sits together. But to be honest, they're considered irrelevant. They're a group that is simply located in that system. And apparently rumors about them researching some innovation. No more than that at this point.
Cool. I will pledge not allegiance, but I'm loyal to them.
Okay. That's interesting. So that will mean you will owe them 3 debts, but have 1 favor in hand from them.
Nice.
Yeah. And there is some guidance on how those debts and favors work mechanically. So, you know, ask a faction for help, as long as it's an area of expertise where they might have influence or whatever else, then you can spend it to do the kind of things you've got there, which will usually involve, might or might not involve a roll, depends on the circumstances. And of course, when you accept their help, you cash in the favor. And there are ways to earn favors down the bottom of that tab. And there's also some stuff in there about betrayal, for what it's worth. Okay, so there we go. So the other thing I wanted to just pin you down a little on was on the nature of your burden. Now, Pleasant, champion of the downtrodden, and I think that we've got some idea of that. I think you've put some stuff in the notes at the bottom of the sheet. I don't know if you want to just flesh out, you know, a couple of words or phrases to go in that detail shot. I think I've got it in my head, but I think it'd be helpful for everyone else to see something.
I mean, I think it's like they can't help themselves kind of thing with here's people that need help and can't get it any other way. Well, I have to do something.
Fine.
Which is how we got launched on this journey, and I think has propelled several of the adventures since then.
Okay. And Jort, escaped slave, pursued by who, what, and why. Escape from Fines Logistics. So we talked about Cancri 9, which is the harsh planet where these slave pens are to be found. We talked about it being a pool of labor for the cluster. And so you were indentured to Fines doing who knows what.
Indeed, but nothing good ever comes out of logistics companies.
I'd forgotten about that. That's good, fine. And then Bryz, what have we got for you? We've got impervious self-confidence, except when it comes to what? What is the bit that can rock your view of the world and yourself in it?
So I think one of the things is that Bryz has a striking self-awareness that the only reason he is in this state is because he was effectively medicated to this, and is kind of terrified that empathy will wear off, like that he is gained beyond the virus, and that he will drift back. And in particular, like that comes to his, like, he is really worried that if he gets presented with wealth or money or luxuries or things like that, that he might, like, he's afraid he's going to be tempted. He's afraid he's going to slide back. He's like really terrified, and that he's not going to be able to control it. Yeah, like he's terrified of that as a thing. Like he wants to get away from that because he is afraid that he'll fall.
I like that. And finally, Pax Bransom, guilt over a catastrophic mistake you made with tech. What, when, how, and the consequences. What do you want to, what terrible thing have you done, Paxed?
I think I helped. Like, is it a catastrophe? What does it say?
Well, it says a catastrophic mistake.
Mistake.
So a mistake that led to serious consequences.
Yeah, I think that
people.
I think that the mistake that he made is he helped the Shattered Sphere in their project to harness this unnatural power, realized what catastrophic consequences that will have for the rest of the universe, maybe, or for other clusters. and therefore left. But the guild that he gave them the last puzzle piece to actually start the project is still with him. You are muted.
Muted myself, thinking, why am I not muted? Now, I did have a go on the cluster, just trying to pull together this idea of unnatural or forbidden power and a prophesied leader. And what I came up with was the intellect, the person at the top of this technocratic religious caste, is said to commune with the slip spheres. Their successor will be brought out of the shadow of distant ignorance. Feel free to tinker with that, but I think we do need to know something, because you were on the inside of this, so you should know something about it. If that doesn't suit, then feel free to replace it. There is a placeholder, if nothing else.
It does sound awesome.
Yeah. So fine. Okay. The other thing I've put down at the bottom of the cluster in potential hooks is we discovered last time that the Sword Brotherhood are raiding HSA stations and operations over the last 18 months. Pleasant did a bit of digging, but doing little damage. It feels like it's more about undermining the HSA than it is about attacking them. Is that how you remember it, Keith? From Pleasant's digging? Okay, fine.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. So I think that what we had last time, we finished with Jort sneaking down to the cargo bay and opening up the bolt hole where you had secreted the cargo you are smuggling from the HSA ring station, the station that kind of monitors the ring in the Xolia system. So no questions asked, just smuggle this, don't open it, ignore it. You hid it away, and then Jort snuck down and opened it. And the last thing we saw, I think, was Jort opening it up and going, so Jort, do you tell the others what's in it, or shall I keep it in my head?
Well, you haven't told me what's in it.
I know.
Well, I need that before I decide
Okay,
to tell
no,
the
no.
others.
Okay. In there are small arms, Jort. And I'll remind you that while the HSA itself is very high tech, Xolia 4, the true path authoritarian dictatorship, is no more than cluster norms. So I think your estimate would be that this is more likely to be from the true path than it is from the HSA.
I'll tell the others because it doesn't seem at all relevant to me. It's nowhere near as good as a large hammer.
So I think then we cut to you've gone through the ring, you're in ring space, you're in the slipstream, heading towards Ceti Rho. And you're sitting on your bunks in the cramped crew quarters, because there isn't a kind of separate recreation space on a ship this cramped. Jort, drop your shoe here. How do you broach that you've not only done what you weren't supposed to do, but what's in it?
I think we're digging into some chow, and Jort's eating massive quantities of it. Looking at Pleasant, probably doesn't eat a lot, so the distribution of the food portions is probably by body size. And I think people are probably talking away, just a bit of general small talk, and Jort will just, with half a mouthful of sort of like squeezed rations or something, just go, odd we're carrying guns. Who signed up for guns?
Now, Pleasant, you I seem to remember expressed a view about this smuggling exercise, so I think I'm going to come to you first in terms of reaction, unless you want to defer.
Remind me of who. Do we know who exactly we're sending this to, or is it just
you have a contact name on Zalea, I think is the planet in the Ceti Rho system, where Paxed is a heretic across that system.
Mm-hmm. But it's not like care of the Puppy Killers Association or anything like that, where
No, it's just a
we don't know
name
at least. Okay.
and a location, which we'll sketch out when the time comes.
Then I think I'll shrug and just say, that's not as bad as it could have been.
What about Bryz?
I think Bryz turns to Pax and kind of looks at him to kind of go, what does this mean? Given where we're going with a bunch of weapons, what are the implications?
That sphere doesn't need weapons. I can only assume two things. It's either some kind of unbelievers, revolutionaries, rebels, or criminals. That's the two possibilities.
What do you think, Bryz?
I like one over the other.
Well, as smugglers, we don't really have a say. We just carry the stuff, unless it's completely unethical. I mean, I wouldn't smuggle people against their will. Guns, they're just tools, aren't they?
That's a way of distancing yourself from responsibility. So yeah, we can go with that.
Well, is this your first smuggling job?
We've done some other smuggling jobs, but they've always been very low key, like illegal fruit and animals.
Well, one
The
person's
hold
illegal
stunk for
fruit
weeks.
is like it's some kind of sacrilege for another group. So I don't know, could be drugs. You should be open-minded, flexible morals is what I'm
My
saying.
question is, do you think that is a thing we should be worried about, or does this seem like this is what we were expecting, and we should just carry on as if there are no differences?
Biz, I am worried since the second I heard that we're going to Ceti Rho, because I'm hunted there. Will this make our position worse? I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Then your level of tension remains about the same.
Very, very high.
Okay, that seems fair.
Okay, that's as long as there's not going to be any fisticuffs thrown. There might be, because of course now we're going to run the downtime cramped quarters. As you emerge into Ceti Rho, we'll just have a little montage of what's happened across the 2 weeks you've spent in this glorified tin can. Let's stick with the order. I mean, cramped quarters, when you emerge from the ring gate after 2 weeks trapped together in the disorientating slipstream, roll without any modifiers except disadvantage if you're scraping by or desperate. So you're going to be rolling with disadvantage unless your downtime modifier, which is down on row 46-7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is anyone not rolling with disadvantage? Because we might start with them.
Yeah, I think it says there I ignore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And it says an opportunity to illustrate how your upbringing taught you restraint and self-discipline in the use of resources. We've just seen you entirely undisciplined eating off Pleasant's plate. But what is it that we see you doing on the ship that hints at the kind of self-discipline that was needed in terms of using resource on Cancri 9?
I think it is that sleeping whenever you can and not being bothered by the small cots, the general laziness that Jort can show, and the he doesn't really care if somebody else has half-eaten something. That's still viable food as Jort sees it, and it's free food as soon as somebody pushes that plate away from in front of him. That's Jort's.
Fine. So let's have you roll 2d6 then.
6.
6. Okay, so on a 6-, you don't recover, though I'm just trying to remember, you used something. Was it your ad hoc primitive armor last time? Is there a little tick next to it in your equipment?
No,
no,
I didn't get shot.
Right. Okay. Right. I'm misremembering. Um, because it's your melee weapon is easily recovered, you would automatically, no matter if you roll a 6- on that cramped quarters, you'd still repair that, but it's not an issue. Then frame a negative scene with someone that introduces or expands on a tension or conflict between you, a philosophical disagreement, bad blood, general aggravation, etc., that might explain why you don't recover or mark progress on a project. So who's this scene with?
I think this scene will be with Bryz.
Go on, set the scene for me.
I think it's me looking through Bryz's stuff, because he's got nice shiny, rather than my sort of like animal pelts. My armor, his armor's nice and shiny. I quite like shiny armor.
So I'm kind of imagining this is either down in the storage or in beside the lockers in the storage deck, or it's up in the EVA where maybe it depends where Bryz keeps his power armor, isn't it? Where is that, Bryz? Storage or in the EVA locker?
Probably in the EVA locker.
Okay, so Jort, you're doing this, and then what, does Bryz walk in on you?
Yeah, I think Bryz comes in as I'm coveting his armor in quite a tactile
Hey,
manner.
hey, what the fuck?
Can I have this when you die?
I'm going to say no because saying yes incentivizes you to kill me.
As if, my friend.
As if.
Just first
Yeah,
dibs. It happens. You can have my hammer.
I appreciate your hammer, but the hammer doesn't quite work for me. Also, uh, unfortunately, that armor is fairly tailored to my phenotype and body and such. And I think you might have, let us say, some issues unless you're planning on slimming down significantly.
I was going to use hammer to bend armor. Only when you're not with us, Bryz.
Again, gonna say no.
Oh. You're no fun, Bryz. We are partners. Partners together.
100%. But no.
Jort remembers this. He remembers Bryz.
Riz also remembers this very clearly.
Scene? Okay. Then let's go to Bryz next then. As let's move on. So you are rolling cramped quarters with disadvantage
Oof.
because these are not the kind of conditions that you've been brought up with, Bryz.
Is this flat with disadvantage, or is there a thing we roll with this?
No.
Not even with our delightful hospitality and stuff?
Well, unless you have something in that downtime modifier down there on roll wherever it was.
Yeah, let
I
me.
think yours is worse because you roll with disadvantage even when you're breaking even.
Yeah.
You really do need to kind of improve the facilities here.
How do we is there a ship system to increase these rolls? I'm just curious for future
Oh,
reference.
I mean, it's possible because if you look at wealth, if you were to start making some money and move up,
So
then
it's just money.
it's just money, and you might I depending on how you were to spend that money. For instance, if you were to invest in crew quarters, then, you know, that might make this slightly less cramped quarters.
All right, let's roll that beautiful beam
Terrible
footage.
dice rolls.
Yeah. That is a 6. Oh no, it's a 4.
It's a 4.
Two
So
worst.
that is also the same as poor old Jort. You cannot repair anything. Did you take any stress last time?
I don't believe I did.
No, I think you were pretty much impervious last time.
Yes.
So who would you like to have a not very positive scene with?
I Hmm. I
the
think it's
titles
going to
right.
be Paxed. And I think it's going to be after this meeting, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to say to Paxed, "Hey, Paxed,
Bryz?
I had the sense when we were having the conversation at the table about things that you were still salty about going to your system."
Salty. I mean, you are not hunted on in that system. I am.
Yeah, but we've already decided to go. So I think the optimal thing is to kind of let it go, and we just go where we go.
It's fear. It's a feeling, man. It just grips me. Okay, would have let go. What they were supposed to do? Drink tea? Like pleasant? Doesn't
Uh,
help either.
no, I certainly understand what stress is like, but you know, uh, the thing is, we decided to do smuggling because you said we should do smuggling.
Very lucrative.
Yes, so like you're the one who put us in this place to be smuggling.
Well, I'll tell you something, Buzz. This. If I go
Bryz.
down, Bryz, we all go down. It's not that the Shattered Sphere will say, "Oh, we have one heretic, and the rest of you just sell your guns to whoever. They will take you as well." Just saying.
No, I think that honestly goes wherever we go. If one of it gets caught, unless one of us turns on the other.
I'm not turning on anyone.
And
I'm loyal.
I'm not turning on anyone either. But I'm saying like we're doing the smuggling you wanted to do. So smile.
Well, first of all, I'm 2 weeks in this shitty tin can that has nothing. We have nothing. There's nothing. There's no food. Secondly, I'm now I have to smile. Thirdly, they're gonna kill me, disintegrate my whole body, sell my brain.
The sequencing there was off for me, but look, I'm just saying that you make everybody calm and cool when we go and do this.
Well, I'll tell you
I'm
something.
in the same can as you, so I am well aware of the
Well,
lack that we have.
maybe we can do the shared thing. You smile and I worry. What about that?
How about we both do both?
I think text doesn't answer and just
Yeah, little fume of coming off from both of us.
cool.
And see, thank you for that. Finally, Paxed, not finally, Paxed, who do you want to set a scene with?
I would like to have a scene pleasant.
Okay,
But
so
first, I
roll
have
the
to
dice
roll.
first.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
fail your roll first.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we-
Sorry, I'm just getting carried away. It's becoming habitual.
I'm in at disadvantage, obviously, because I come from an advanced society. I'm not used to this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is a 3. Gets worse, guys.
You guys are really killing it. But as somebody said in the chat, get the bad rolls out. So what's the nature of the scene, Paxed? What's the point of friction that you're gonna develop with Pleasant?
I mean, Pext is pissed off the state of this fucking tin can, and he just yells at the next person he meets, and that is Pleasant. Hey,
I think
Pleasant.
playing off what you were saying before, like I'm trying to be calm. I've got a little mug of tea, like I'm pretending. I got my headphones on, chill lo-fi beats to study to.
And you're in your bunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, can we establish that maybe you are in the bunk above me?
Sure.
And then, I got I don't know if you're maybe bopping your head to the beats, to the chill beats to study to. And that slight vibration gets down to me. And so I just look over the bed. Yo, Pleasant.
Hey, Apex.
Stop it.
What?
Stop the vibrations. It gets on my nerves.
Oh, sorry. This is an old ship. Everything vibrates.
Oh, this is an old ship, as if I haven't seen that. This is the worst. This is the worst kind of sardine tin I've ever been in. What are you going to do about it?
But me, what do you?
Aren't you like an engineer or something?
I mean, that's a common mistake that a lot of people would make. But I could try to jury rig something if makes your
Jury rig is all that you can do. I need a replicator or something. We need like a nice pool, like some space, something where I can go to and don't see all your faces. And
hear
your
pool
music, like a small one.
Look, take a page from Jort's book. He's unconscious half the time, man. You don't got to look at anybody's faces then.
Well, he also comes from a planet where they are that far away from apes. Intellectually, culturally.
You see how that's worse, right? You didn't make that statement better by qualifying it. Well, I'm going to do you a favor and not tell Jort that you said that.
Yeah, well, that would be a good idea. We have enough tension in the group.
Yeah, I'm getting that sense.
I don't know how you can keep that calm.
What good does it do not to? Look at you.
There's
you look fucking miserable.
Well, first of all, they will find out that I'm in the system. Secondly,
okay,
they will burn me on a stake. And thirdly, I won't have a chance to just, walk 10 meters in one direction before hitting a wall.
Well, that's right. Now, you said the first thing last. I thought it was supposed to end with your brain getting sold.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully they will do something for science with it. It's a beautiful brain.
Yeah, definitely. So don't hurt it by worrying, because you're going to really ruin your retail price. Look, I'll stop listening to my music, I guess.
And the tea, the smell of the tea, what is it? Is it like that's some kind of weed?
Yeah, you should try it. It's fantastic.
He makes a disgusting gesture, gets into his bunk, puts the pillow around his head, and buries the nose in the mattress.
And scene, I think, as Pleasant puts the earphones back on and carries on. Pleasant, let's see how things go for you.
Yeah, somebody's got to accidentally roll well with this.
Yeah, exactly. Because on a 7+, something, you get a special thing.
I'm going to roll Three-Eyed Snake right now. It's a 7. It's a 7, right? Yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
That's how Pleasant stays so calm.
On a 7+, recover. So if you've got stress, you can reduce it by 1. If you've stressed a piece of equipment, you got a tick in the box next to a piece of equipment. You could do that. It's either or, health or fixing something. But if that's not the case,
yeah, I don't think so.
and then choose one opportunity. Dig into the library data, reveal a truth, frame a positive scene with someone. Which of those appeals to you? On a 7 to 9, the GM will look for opportunities to use what you discover or reveal to complicate future situations.
So it looks like the reveal a truth introduces recover for possibly other people.
It does.
Does any of our crewmates that have failed a roll need to recover anything?
I think that you got out pretty scot-free last time. You overpowered those sword brothers, who I think you can assume will be tougher nuts to crack next time. But
well, then let's dig into some library data.
Okay, so dig into library data. You learn something about factions, hooks, aspects, etc. in this or another system. So it's as though you got a 7+ on gather information, which is you tell me what you're interested in finding out about what, and I will provide you with something.
I would say, given where we're headed and Pax's worries, like I'm interested in some way that he won't get killed. Do a little research for him.
Well, I mean, you are reminded of a conversation you had with Pax, and he kind of forgotten about this, but he was boasting about the fact that he set up a series of fake IDs. And so quite why he's panicking as much as he does. Okay, you know, the advanced technology of the shattered sphere could pick up on it, but then, you know, he's used the same technology to create these fake IDs, these false sets of credentials. So that, I mean, that doesn't seem to be a problem. And frankly, just as well, because the techno priests of Ceti Rho are known to employ indentured cancri bodyguards. And, you know, if Jort is anything to go by, those might be tough nuts to crack, particularly if they equip them with advanced tech. Does that seem like an interesting piece of information?
Definitely the second part. The first part, did I already know that, or is that new information?
Well, I mean, I think that it's in Pax's equipment list, so I'm telling you that he's boasted about them.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe there's something wrong with them then.
So my takeaway is basically it's strange that Pax is worried because he's got these layers of false IDs.
Well, he said he did.
Okay. He says a lot. He says a lot.
Says a lot. Says a lot about how advanced everything he has is. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then on a 7+, because it's you, I still think we can have that group activity. I'm just, you know, it says an opportunity to illustrate how you managed similar cramped conditions on your crowded world while growing up. So what kind of group activities in the bunk room, which is, you know, 6 bunks around the room, and about 1.5 meters by 1 meter in the middle of them?
Is that just 2 people, or I forget?
Well, I think that the host the activity could be for everyone, but I mean, if we needed someone to recover, you'd be able to choose who.
Oh, okay, but we don't actually. So it's okay. Yeah. So I want to organize a Slapshock tournament with the whole crew. So I don't know if you play that game where like you put your palms on someone else's palm and then they try to smack your hand and get you to flinch. Yeah, and it's reflexes. It's like that except with electric shocks. I built a little system. Hurts like hell, doesn't do any damage.
So much fun growing up on your planet.
Yeah, we weren't well supervised, and I like to tinker, so I invented this game, and it really helps with your reflexes. It's going to be so much fun.
Does anybody not want to play?
I'm in.
Jort?
Jort is always in.
Horst? Sorry, Paxed?
Hex is so bored that even getting an electric shock seems like a good thing.
Pax is throwing the game on purpose just to feel something.
Yes.
So Pleasant, you get to say who enjoyed it. Which two people enjoyed it most?
Oh my goodness. I
mean,
think
one of them could be you, I suppose.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say Jort for sure. Like I don't know how much it actually hurt him. I'm picturing him giggling at it and it tickles. Um and I think, you know what? I think Pax probably tries not to show it, but is actually enjoying it a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. There is an opportunity here for a flashback. Do you want to give us a picture of? Do we want a flashback to you using that or a similar game as a child? Pleasant, just set a scene as a flashback. What's it like being blue collar, where you come from?
Yeah. I think it's me and a bunch of other street urchin type kids, like, in hand-me-downs and dirt crusted across the face, and like two of the neighbor kids are crying that there's no food for them today. And it's, guys, no, it's great. I've got something else. It's way more fun than our other games. You got to check it out. And devising this form of, let's say, ad hoc torture, probably, to distract the children from the pain in their bellies, and throwing the game as well so that they defeat me. Oh yeah, I'm mute now.
Muted down.
Still muted.
Am I trying to observe muting discipline and I'm making a mess of it? So that is our trip through the slipstream, and I'm noticing that it is coming up to 10 to the hour. I think that I simply want to have you emerge from the ring system, and set course for Zalea, I guess, the planet. Yeah. Who's most likely to be piloting? I mean, I hate to say it, but I think it's probably Pax, isn't it? Because he's got it. It doesn't apply to maneuvering the ship, but he's got this this specialist skill. Do you routinely take the pilot role, or do
Yeah,
you hand it off, Pax?
No, I think Pax likes to pilot the ship.
Because last time you left Bryz in charge and you nearly hit a space station.
Yeah, I know.
That was a scheduling issue. I happened to be the one on deck at that point.
And I
Duty
remember
officer.
Pax kind of adjusted the thrust so that we didn't crush.
And so I think Pax this time makes sure that he's on, takes a watch when you emerge. So let's use, we'll do the move and then we'll see where it takes us. So there is a move on the ship tab called drive. When you set course for a named destination in system, roll plus drive. So this is roll +1, Paxed.
Cool. I just wanted to remind you that it's not a planet, it's
yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Zalea is the name of one of these enormous kind of city ships.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
This is a 9. Wow, look at us.
Okay, so on a 9 it says 7+, choose one. Do you want to arrive or do you want to have an in-system encounter? So do we want to cut to the Zalea or?
What kind of a counter could it be?
If you go over to AFAG on that tab, you'll see some examples.
AFAG. Oh. I think for the sake of brevity, let's arrive.
Okay. And the Zalea is this enormous city ship and we see the dwarfed. Oh, we never settled on the name of the ship. We've
I thought
got
it was
Chimera, Frankenstein,
Was a
and
joke suggestion.
Gallimorphary.
Paul is muted as well.
I'm muted. I did come up with Chimera, due to that it's a combination of loads of weirdness.
What about Keith? You came up with an alternative. Are you content?
I'm happy with Chimera. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So the Chimera is dwarfed as it approaches the Zalea. And should we be back in our seats on the hour? Is that long enough? See you then. There'll be another downtime opportunity coming up if you take some shore leave here. So we'll might come back to having some interaction. That'd be nice to see. Begin to firm up the characters. But yes, as you come within range of the Zalea, I've called it the Zalea now. I appreciate that you lot probably just call it Zalea, but it's to remind me that it's an enormous ship rather than a planet as such. I imagine Paxed and maybe who else has some science and stuff. I think probably Paxed and Pleasant are in the control chairs with Jort and Bryz, standing behind them looking on. And a voice comes through on the loudspeaker, and it says, "This is Lector Bridger of the Shattered Sphere. Who are you and why are you here? Who's going to take the role? Who's going to make the responses to traffic control?"
But given that I know the most about the system and also have fake credentials, I think I should probably take the call.
Okay. I think in that case, I think I'll give you advantage in your dealing with them because you understand the way this works. Lecter is a kind of middle-ranking member of the technocracy. Please transmit ship and personnel details.
I do so, and I say this is envoy. Give me a title that is above Lecter.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking. I think there are 3 grades of Lecter. Then there's Arch Lecter, and above the Arch Lecter, there's the High Lecter. So is your fake ID for a member of the Shattered Sky? You don't want to go with just a nothing to do with the church.
No, I want to have some authority.
Okay. So Arch Lecter then. And I think I'm going to make you roll with advantage to secure an advantage going forward, because I think that let's see whether playing that card works. I think that this is about resolve, command, deception, sociability, roll plus influence. 3d6, take the top 2. Just give me some idea.
Are plus, influence is +2. Nice. 3-sided. Let's add another d6. Yeah. That is 5 and 3 plus 2 is 10.
I think there's a pause, and then I beg your pardon, Archlector. We were not expecting anyone to be making transfer from one of the other ships. Please forgive any sense of brusqueness I may have communicated. Please, I will accelerate your docking arrangements. And you have advantage going forward with this guy and with customs. Please, welcome to Zalea. Yeah.
And you were so worried.
And he switches off the communications, and he removes some sweat from his brow. Well, we're moving on very thin ice. I mean, they can check my credentials, for example, or they can check if there's an Archbishop or Archlector Bender, or they can take a blood sample, or they can do all kinds of things.
Thought
It's
you were
not
doing
over
so
till it's
well.
over. And you know, you're given a beacon to home in on, and you head on in. I think that the working assumption as you approach Zalea is that this ship has been chartered to transfer the Archlector from some other ship to here.
Yeah, I think the Archlector that is Dr. Bransom says something about this is like a clandestine mission. We are not officially here. I hope you understand. So,
Of course, Archlector. We will treat it with the absolute discretion. And I'm guessing that that means that when you board the Zalea, are you going to be in your, because your ceremonial garb is not that of an Archlector.
no, it's of a regular techno priest.
Okay, okay. And docking goes ahead. You clamp, the Zalea is spinning for gravity. It's a series of concentric hulls. So gravity is still down for you. And you climb up through the through the EVA deck, the locker, up into the airlock deck, and from there through the umbilical. I suppose my question is, now you asked me who you were delivering to. What the guy in the Zalea station said was all you have to do is to put this encoded packet into any transmission to the Zalea. And that will alert my contact in system on the Zalea that who you are and what you're bringing. And then, you know, arrangements will be made. Yeah. And I think probably you make your way, and though everyone is at pains to make it look like you are just any other crew coming aboard, it is undoubtedly the case that everyone in a uniform is standing slightly more shoulders back. And I guess that's the first time you see some of the indentured Cancri warriors who act as security for the priesthood. Jort, what are you thinking when you see some, you know, they don't all look like you, but they are all, you know, you have to be a big and powerful individual to survive on Cancri 9. What does this make you feel?
I feel sorry for them that they're indentured slaves, and I will lean to Doctor and go, "You are a smart man, Doctor. A man of absolutely no moral principles, apart from one, slavery. You said it earlier, and it's stuck in my head. You are a smart man. Do anything to anybody apart from enslave them. You are wise, and that's why I follow you."
Well, Jord, I wouldn't call it wise. I would call it the right thing to do. The small moral code that I follow.
That is good. A
Um,
wise man.
And I think I'll cut to you know, the strangers deck, where you can take your ease, you can find places to stay, you can find places of entertainment, and wait to be contacted, I guess. Bryz, is there anything else you particularly want to do, or we can go straight to shore leave and see what that throws up? Oh, you are muted.
I think I definitely am like keeping myself on the, you know how when you go to an airport and there are those like chairs that are in the middle of the corridor kind of thing, and they've got screens up across from them, and everybody's just kind of going back and forth, and it's the least comfortable kind of place to sit to watch most often Fox. But like I'm sitting in one of those, trying not to like be tempted to go into a bar or into a restaurant or anything like that, to spend my money or to indulge on any of that stuff. And I'm trying to keep my focus.
Yeah, the equivalent to Fox on the Zalea is probably a program analyzing the last kind of papal message from the intellect at the top of the technocracy. Pleasant, what about you?
Vatican 48.
Is there anything you want to do particularly, or I can move on to downtime, Pleasant?
I think the thing I want to do is in downtime, so
Fine.
I will say no.
Okay, so downtime, shore leave. When you arrive at a settlement and take some time to acclimatize and find your feet, roll without any modifiers, except disadvantage if the GM says conditions here are not disadvantageous. But again, check out what your downtime modifier says about shore leave, and we'll apply that. Otherwise, it's a straightforward 2d6. Let's start this time with Bryz, because I'm interested to know how Bryz is going to use his time here. So 2d6. Is there any shore leave?
I think once I kind of catch, myself together, I mean, Bryz's background is in mercantile stuff. So I am going around and very obviously doing above board talk about trade contracts and getting people together and stuff. I have a move for choir, and I'm doing that kind of thing to increase our cover, but also legit see if we can find some trade to cover our next jump.
Now, I'm trying to think. There is an advantage on offer to you, I think, if you openly state or demonstrate your importance, connections, influence, etc. to the locals. Do you want this to be one of the show, Byzantium one of the shows, or not? 2D or 3D is what's on the table.
I think that's a hidden temptation that he would not realize. So I think he is using his name.
Fine. Roll with advantage.
Okay. That is a 9.
That is a 9. So
unless
on a
I'm
7
adding
plus,
anything. Okay.
No, there's nothing to be added. 7 plus, recover as described. Well, nothing to recover, all is well. And choose one opportunity the GM will flesh out. A friendly face, word on the street, help wanted, or R&R.
Well, I think I help wanted.
Help wanted. Say how you put out the word that you're looking for a job and get a lead on who to speak to. You have advantage to hospitality. Yeah. Okay.
Essentially saying, we're here for just a short while. We're taking off. If there are people who need, we're here and present.
Well, what kind of job are you looking for? A ship of your kind of wealth and reputation has the option on a local job, a cargo or passenger run, bounty hunting, or a risky scheme. And is it legal or illegal?
I think since we just did smuggling, I think that I will take a look and see if there are any bounty hunts for what I would consider a bad person.
A bad person. Okay. I'm not going to roll for that now. I just want to put that on the shelf till we've been down everybody else's kind of downtime. Okay, let's move on to Paxed. I think I'm interested in Paxed here. You can claim advantage by exploiting the wonder of locals by demonstrating a piece of advanced equipment of which they have no experience. I don't think that applies here, but I'm going to give you advantage anyway, because I think, though this is a discreet visit, The word has gone out that, you know, there's an arch-lector on the stranger deck. 3d6, take the top two.
All right, let's have a roll. Did I roll? No.
Can't see it.
Oh, the last one.
Aha.
It is a 10.
So, life on the ship is shitty, but life in shore leave is going very well.
It's awesome.
So, on a 10, again, friendly face, word on the street, help wanted, R&R. I mean, given that we've already got an advantage going for work on the street, you may want to consider something else. Unless you want to go in search of choices or multiple jobs. I don't know.
Let's see. Could add a friendly face, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Say how you discover you have enough in common with one of the locals to spend time with them. So what is it that you're doing that leads to your friendly face?
I think that like after the 2 weeks in the tin can,
yeah,
he wants to experience the luxury that Celia has to offer. And it is probably some kind of arcade game where you float in, you know, 3-dimensional space and you shoot at other people, maybe. And I think he's in a team with a local, and that person, you know, can read the movement of Pext really well, and Pext, you know, can adjust to the movement of the other person, and so we feel something is in common.
Do you want to give them a name?
Ooh, I'm terrible with name. Can I?
Well, I mean, there is Faces and Places has got a random name generator if you're interested.
Faces and Places. Oh wow, that's all to the right. Okay. Let's roll 2d30.
No, it's a D100.
Jesus.
It rolls off the edge of the.
I just pick. It's Kaisha Salvi.
Fine. Now, on the cluster, way down on row 46, put him or her down underneath Ceti Rho. Yeah, that's the one. And put in brackets Paxed, so we know who it's a friendly face for. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And anything else on that? On a 10 plus, say how you get to recover, but you don't need to recover. You're all fine. So Bryz is on the hunt for work. Horst is playing video games. Pleasant, what about you?
I want to find a time to talk to Bryz.
Fine.
Ideally, I'm picturing like a local market kind of bazaar place, which might work for what Bryz is doing as well and provide a lot of cover and a lot of noise and busyness around us, which is comforting and nice in case anyone's trying to follow us or otherwise.
Now, what would be helpful to me is if you roll your 2d6 for shore leave, so I've just got some context for what might be going on around you.
Well, I'm trying to talk you into 3d6 for shore leave because it's somewhere I can go that's busy and crowded.
Oh, yes. Okay, fine. And I think we know that Bryz has succumbed to some extent to enjoying what the stranger deck has to offer. So yeah, go. I'm thinking crowded bar full of potential cargo factors looking for getting cargo and stuff off planet, and also word about the bounty boards. Does that seem fair, Bryz?
Absolutely.
Right, go for it, Pleasant. It's heaving in here.
And that's a straight roll, right?
3d6, no adds, yeah.
Okay, so
Top
it's a 7.
Okay, so on a 7, okay, Right, I'll keep that in mind. There's Bryz. He's just come out of a conversation with some folk about some possible work. What do you do, Pleasant? What's the nature of the conversation? What do you want to do?
Seems like you're really in your element here.
Yes, thing I appreciate is when you get to these stations that have like street food, they actually put the anti-diarrheal in the food so you don't have to worry about it.
And just at that moment, somebody says, just interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. Mr. Show, absolute pleasure. I'll see what I can do for you.
Thank you so much. So much. They gave me some freebies. There's like a little bowl of popcorn or pretzels.
Sure. I'll try that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's nice to see you at your ease. The last time we got to sit down, you were still coming down from the incident with the Sword Brotherhood.
No, I like talking to people. I'm pretty good at it, and so I enjoy being out here amongst people and getting ready for us to move on to a place where Paxt is less nervous.
Have you always been good at talking to people, or is that just since the viral load?
No, I grew up in a family where we were exquisitely trained in sociodynamics and neurolinguistic programming and such. It's a standard thing for commercial mercantile families.
Just now you're using it for good.
I hope so.
Kind of.
Okay, there's a pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's hard to tell though, huh? I mean, if it's any consolation, it's hard for all of us, not just.
You seem more relaxed too.
Oh, I love the hustle and bustle of the crowd. You just get lost in here, you know? And everybody kind of becomes just one massive humanity that you're just a part of. It's not
We are.
so much. Well, not everybody thinks that.
I know. That's why we have to cut the Hydra's head off.
Yeah, about that. What if the Hydra's heads attacked each other?
I'm listening.
I've been wondering about that virus. And they lean forward kind of a little bit conspiratorially, maybe a little flirty too. I'm not sure. If it could do that to you, what could it be reverse engineered to do to other people? If it was, say, let off at a corporate boardroom or a shareholders meeting.
It is a bioweapon, and that was its purpose and how it was used. The problem is I don't know much beyond that. It was a terrorist attack. And when I joined up with my friends, and there's the obviously it's talking about the syndicate. I pressed them to see if they had any information on that, and they were very close-lipped about it, to the extent that I actually don't think they know. I think that somebody else had a hand in it, and I'm still not sure who it was. But yeah, I like that science and tech stuff, and that is not, shall we say, my forte.
If only you knew someone who could work with that sort of thing. We don't need to know the name of the terrorists. Is that the word you want to use, by the way? You don't seem terrified, but
well, that was what they were labeled as, and given that I don't know their overall agenda, I don't know how to describe them.
Labels can be dangerous.
Yeah, there was a yeah. Here's the thing is, and I'll say this, and I say this with some concern. I say part of the problem is that in the initial stages and even a little bit later, it is I don't necessarily believe in psychic phenomena. but there is a certain amount of telepathic offlow, like, and that may just be hallucinations on my part, and that's what they told me, was I was hallucinating all of that. But I think that at heart, whatever they used was something that activated some higher senses. I don't know what to call it. I still pick things up, particularly when I'm close to things that are, how do I put this? More primitive, simpler, animal-like, Jort, any of those things.
Jort is catching strays all over the place.
Jort touched my armor. Yeah, you weren't there, but
Yeah,
he had his hands on it. He asked me if he could have my armor when I was dead.
He doesn't mean anything by that. He talks about when I'm dead all the time. It's nothing personal.
What? Really?
Yeah, there's a greater consciousness, and we are all temporarily embodying part of it. Makes a lot of sense when he explains it.
Okay.
Well,
I just don't want him to. I
explaining it.
don't want to give him an excuse to hit me with that axe, or that hammer, rather.
Oh, don't call it an axe around him. That's
I know. I just,
he would. No, he's not gonna do that. He's not like other guys.
we'll see. I mean, I've been with you all for a bit, but I'm still figuring all of you out.
And I mean, if you're worried about him, you know, we have a way we could ensure empathy, right? I think pause for a second and put my hand on your hand and say, so can I have some of your blood?
I think I'm going to call a scene there.
Fair.
Finally, Jort. Sorry, Pleasant. We didn't actually get to the mechanical bit of downtime. On a 7+, friendly face, word on the street, R&R. R&R, I don't think it's very useful to you right now.
So we have seen friendly face and help wanted, correct?
Yes.
So we're word on the street. I'm in the bazaar. Let's find out.
So do you then, as the two of you go your separate ways, Bryz to the HSA enforcement bounty board, and you still in this crowded bar, noisy club, whatever it is? How do we see you gathering the information that you're interested in?
For some reason, I'm picturing like whatever the local equivalent of darts is, and just playing against different people and like making bets and saying trick shots and stuff, and just kind of trying to figure out, like, I'm curious of who do we think wants guns, and why.
Oh, that's an interesting question, isn't it? Treat that as a 7 on gather information. So I think I can tell you that there is an armed insurgency based, they think, on Cadence, which is where Bryz comes from. But I think also you will see that moving among because this is where people from outside come. So it's, apart from the staff, most of the people here are outsiders, docked with the Zalea. And you can see somebody's giving out leaflets. And inevitably one comes your way. And it's advertising a drop-in for, how can I put this? For it probably says, are you less special than some? Come and hear us talk about how things could be better.
Interesting.
Follow the true path.
And it's got the location or the timer or whatever kind of.
Absolutely fine by me. Bryz, let's deal with your bounty hunting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So roll hospitality with advantage, I think is
Okay.
what the move says.
So that's a 13.
Well, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you lot are killing it tonight. So on a 13, you get everything you want. 10 plus, you get the job and the legality. The job is to find, restrain, and return an absconded Cancri bodyguard who is indentured here and has absconded with their... Not interested in that one?
No, it's not a bad guy. Like I would take a murderer or something
Okay.
like that.
Well,
But
she did kill a lot of people on the way out.
But
which is why the HSA
the
are
slavery
interested.
thing undercuts that for me.
Okay,
So,
okay,
so.
okay. Then what about a sword brother ship? Raiders have been spotted in system.
Okay. That at least I can take to Jort, and I'll print out the details on that.
Okay, okay. That would be worth +3. It's entirely legal. And you know, the Sword Brotherhood, your experience so far is that they are bad guys in the sense
Yeah,
they...
yeah, but I do know that Jort has
a
ties,
relationship.
and yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, and according to Pleasant, they're pretty much pushovers. So you know what's not to like. So Jort, let's come to Jort then. Downtime. Are you going to try and screw advantage out of me?
No, I don't think so.
No. So just 2d6 for sure leave.
Well, 10 anyway. Didn't need advantage.
Give me a break, guys. So 7 plus. Friendly face, word on the street.
Friendly face.
Friendly face?
Yes, friendly
Yeah.
face.
And where is it that, you know, how do you discover you have enough in common with one of the locals to spend time with?
Because this is an indentured slave.
I thought that might be the case. So one of the indentured security folk who are keeping the peace on the stranger deck. Do you want to come up with a name? You know, if
From.
Okay, so we're going to put from down on here. Is that literally FROM?
No, CROM.
Oh, Crom. Sorry,
Yes.
missed the connection. And that's George's friend. And where do you find Crom?
I think Crom is security on this club or this bazaar where Bryn and Pleasant are.
Fine.
So, as those two go in and do whatever they're doing, I want to stop and talk to this guy and say, I know you.
I am curious. What is it? You know, is there a bracelet, some kind of neck fixture? What is it that stops the indentured Cancri folk here turning nasty? What keeps the indenture in place?
Got to be tech, isn't it? So, yeah, I think that classic exploding necklace, which we've all seen 100 times in various
Never
incarnations.
loses its fascination.
No.
Interesting to consider how that absconded indentured Cancri got off Zalea, though, isn't it? With an exploding necktie. Yeah, so you have advantage to compel, convince Crom in relation, you know, whenever here now, when you're
Yeah, he
passing
may
through.
pop up at an
A
opportune
convenient
time.
opportunity, indeed. For the moment, we'll just...
And I think I'll sort of end this scene in the club. Absolutely nothing to do with that conversation those two have. But I will sort of push in right when they're finished and go, friends. And I'll lean in and grab some of the free food that the Bryz said was there and go, something is strange in this place. They do not put paper in the toilets. They had these 3 shells. It is wrong. I never used. This is good free food, my friends. Jort likes.
Push the bowl.
Free food indeed. This is good, Bryn.
And I think scene. But I think probably we seen, but then I think probably the 4 of you come back together, maybe to get a meal together in a different part of this bazaar, not bizarre.
Hmm.
And you are approached by someone perhaps dressed as an initiate. So this is, this is low down the pecking order. This is someone who's in training in the priesthood and probably fulfills some kind of administrative load. Yeah. And he comes and says, excuse me, are you the crew of the Chimera? Yes, yes.
We
oh,
are
yes.
indeed.
May I, and he looks around rather furtively, may I join you for a moment?
Have a seat, my friend.
I received a packet of information earlier that I think relates to you and a package that I believe you have brought from Xolia. Can I confirm that is the case?
It's the case indeed.
Well, I'm an initiate in tariff and control. So what I need to do is to just transfer this to you, and he flicks a screen. Does anyone have a data pad or anything similar? I think Pleasant might. Isn't it tucked in your
Pext
electronic
has an
kit?
AI that is following.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And so it will flick across onto Pleasant's data pad and into Pact's. It's a hazmat drone, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if the hazmat drone has. Yeah, of course it does. Fine. Yeah. What am I messing about with? And if Bryz was wearing his power armor, it'll probably pop up in his screen.
Mhm.
But and it's a clearance for cargo transfer. With all the details completed that just make it clear that on logging this with tariff and control, the crew will be paid the agreed rate, which I think is 3 units of wealth. So all you need to do, I'm sorry I had to chase you down. I thought I might catch you at the port of entry, but I look forward to receiving the goods.
Seeing that pop up, I just kind of look at people and say 3 credits. Does that seem right? Kind of giving
3 units of wealth.
look?
Yeah.
Yeah, or
That's
I'm wondering if we have someone that can convince this guy that it's supposed to be 4.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I do have a move if we agree that this is a victim to intimidate them.
To take stuff from. I think as long as you can come up with a way to make them a victim, as long as you
Yeah.
can.
The question is, do we want this? I mean, this is probably part of the insurrection. Do we want to bleed them dry?
No, I think we don't. I will say very, very seriously, no, it was 3 that we agreed to.
Oh, my mistake.
Okay. And I think we'll have a little kind of montage of you unloading the cargo and showing the data pad to everyone that you make your way through the checks, the import checks, and I will add 3 ticks to your scraping by. Yeah. All it now requires is for you to pay one for refuel and resupply.
We'll do that.
Fine. There
Well,
you
I
go.
would like to ask the others. I mean, we could buy some cargo and sell.
I say it's. I'm glad that you brought this up. I did go and check on jobs while we were here, and there is a bounty hunting mission. However, I don't know if we want to take it. Alan, can you run through the specifics that we have?
Yeah. There have been reports. The bounty board is run by the HSA or the enforcement arm of the HSA. It has very little in the way of policing powers. It tends to rely on people to police themselves, and where stuff happens in the gaps, it uses bounty hunters. So there is a lucrative free wealth bounty on the Sword Brother ship Karst. Karst. They've been reported in Ceti Rho system. They raided the HSA ring station. Sounds a lot like what happened when you emerged in the Xolia system, and then have disappeared into the system. If you accept the bounty, then you will get information on last known spots and anything that the Shattered Sphere have in terms of tracking information. And it will be worth 3 wealth.
This is a reasonable one, but I did want to check in. Absolutely. If this is something that you don't want to take, Jort, then we won't.
No. Money is money. We all need it. They have committed some sins, the Sword Brothers. But we could look for an extra deal. Pay 2 sides off against each other here, maybe. What do they actually want? Recovery of destruction of ship?
Bottom line, disable the ship so it can be picked up by one of the Shattered Sphere, pickets. Destruction is an option, as long as there is proof of neutralization.
So we don't have to necessarily kill these people.
No.
That would be fair. Sword Brothers could see that we could find a Hulk, maybe, and hand that in. This is good. You have done good, Bryz.
I'll say, I'm not sure I necessarily want to try to fool the HSA here in this system. That is an idea. But on the other hand, if we decide to, we've already seen that this is some sort of weird coordinated plan. And if we decide to, say, manage to take them on and stop their ship, we don't necessarily have to kill the people on board. We could perhaps move them somewhere else and then turn their ship in.
That could do.
Okay.
But what are the Pleasant? Hoxt? Are you in for bounty hunting? Because that's just the job that I rolled up on. If there's something else you'd like to do, we could do that.
I've no love for the Sword Brotherhood. I do wonder, there seem to be some folks here that might rather not be, and I wonder if we could help them out on the way to whatever else we're doing. We have a lot of empty space on the ship as it is.
A lot of empty space. You've got to be fucking kidding me.
You mean those other 2 bunks in the room with the other 4 of you?
By any reasonable standard, we have a lot of space left in the ship.
Compared to what Pleasant is used to, this is luxury.
We could come up with an elaborate plan to use the pirates' ship to to take people off this planet. Not sure what the elaborate plan is, but Jort, you were saying something about a hull, like a destroyed ship that you just wanna.
Yes, we find one. There must be one somewhere. We say that is pirate ship.
Yeah, we could, and I look at Pleasant. We could maybe, transfer the ship ID onto, some destroyed ship somewhere. And now we have a favor with the pirates. And if you really, really want to free some people, we could maybe, convince the pirates to take them. That's a very convoluted plan. I know.
It's a very convoluted plan that has a number of preconditions.
Steps.
I think.
And there's that whole step of giving the refugees to pirates.
Yeah.
Well, I like Jort's plan. Fuck the what's it called? The HSA. I don't have anything against the Sword Brothers, so
I suppose my bottom line is we are at risk of devolving into planning paralysis.
yeah.
So can I start with a simple question about will you take the job?
Let's take the job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. I think it's a fine idea to find a derelict and find the pirates and convince people that the derelict is the pirates. But there's a number of preconditions in that. Are you going to go searching for a derelict, or are you going to search for some pirates and hope you bump into a derelict on the way?
I prefer the latter over the former.
Because I think,
you have a plan A and a plan B.
Searching for a derelict, you have no information of where to start looking, and space is big.
And I do understand, I do appreciate that PAX would like us all to get out of this system faster. So I think the most direct route is probably the best one.
Okay. So have to back aboard the Chimera.
I was mostly trying to get at, I thought that Jort had found a friend that didn't want to be here, perhaps, or was on the run. And if we've got
sorry,
space.
sorry.
Good point.
I
Missed that.
I hadn't picked that up from Jort's conversation, but Crom is a friendly face. Are you inciting Crom to desert, I guess, Jort, or is he wanting to desert?
Oh, I hadn't considered that either.
I will also mention that other bounty.
There is a bounty on an absconded Cancri bodyguard.
Yeah. Which I didn't want to take because it seems to me that they're slaves and whatever they do in resistance to that is fundamentally correct.
Yes, indeed. Yes, we should let the slave go.
Okay.
Okay, so you're not going after Chakra, the +4 bounty.
Just checking. Tell me about the Chakra again.
Chakra is an absconded Cancri indentured bodyguard.
Who did he kill?
I'll kill several people on the way out.
Oh, okay.
In escaping.
Okay.
Yeah, she. Well,
maybe we could find a hull and convince them.
Well, let's get the pirates first.
Jort, I will just check in. Did Crom leave you with the idea he was looking for an escape route?
No, I think Crom is quite well treated. I mean, there was no sign of mistreatment. No, he's our man on the...
Life here is much better than on Cancri 9, I'll tell you that for nothing, he says.
The cost
we get
of
the
freedom.
Best.
No, he's our man on the inside.
Okay, fine.
He may want to do a runner later.
Okay. So last time I asked Horst, Paxt, to roll for drive as you set off in pursuit of the Sword Brother ship. This time, Pleasant, in the other command seat, would you like to roll 2d6 plus 1 for drive? When you set
Why
course for a
not?
named destination in system, roll plus drive.
And that's +1 because of our ship, right? All right, let's see what happens. It's a 7.
It's a 7. So, on a 7 plus, choose. Do you want to encounter the pirate ship, or do you want an in-system encounter?
Oh, let's see what the in-system encounter is.
Okay, I'm going to roll a percentile dice.
Let's open the mystery box. It could be anything, even pirates.
23 or 32. Let's have a look. What will be interesting? I think that it's a deep space settlement.
They're both the same, aren't they? 23 and 32.
Yeah, true.
So there you go.
There's what you know, that's no fun, is it? But I think this is a small station that is running dark. Is this an in-system encounter that the crew is interested in investigating?
Yeah,
Go
we're
on,
getting the
Bryz.
bounce off that, but I don't see any, like, they're keeping quiet. That's weird. Paxed? What does that mean?
Now you're muted.
Yeah, I know. They don't want to be found. Or, I don't know. Something happened.
I think ping them and say, are you, unknown station, are you in distress?
Let's have you roll with scanners, Pleasant, which is also +1, I think.
Okay. Looks like it.
Yeah. When you
Roll for
observe,
scanners.
analyze, or decipher, go for it. And then maybe I can tell you something before
9.
9 on a 7 plus. You find what you're looking for. So I think the sense you get, Pleasant, is that they are deliberately running dark. And I think that your burden or someone else's. I think that would be interesting. Whose burden can I tie this to? In terms of its form, this has all the characteristics of a cadence station. Small station, we're talking about no more than a couple of tens of people.
And they shouldn't be here, right?
They shouldn't be here.
And
Bryz, I go further than that. Given what your scanners are telling you, this is a Jihun station. If your family tops finance, their family tops trade. They are a rival family.
So this is an illegal base set up by people from my system here for profit and exploitation. We could certainly leave them alone, or
Not.
the other thing.
well, I think the question that Pax and I both have is who would pay for this information?
Oh, well, I'm sure there are people we could sell back to, but of course, then we'd have to deal with the government here, which I don't really want us to do.
Are any
Can
ships
we-
docked?
Oh yeah, good question. Are there ships docked?
I think you're going to need to do more now. I think I've given you enough on that scanners. I think you're going to need to get closer to them and make some decisions about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it.
This? Let me suggest this, may I? let's ping this, put a pin in this. Let's go and find those pirates. And then maybe we do the two snakes fighting each other.
You is smart person, Bryz.
Maybe we
Smart man.
get some more out of this.
Okay, I've added a Jihun station running dark to the system as a touchstone or location. And then power up the drives again. Oh, sorry, you got a 7 to 9 on that, didn't you? So there is a consequence on the ship on a 7 to 9. For drive, it is that either yeah, I think I've made that more hazardous than it might otherwise have been by linking it to the show family. So I think I've done my job there. So this time then, Bryz, let's have you roll the dice for drive this time. See if you're going to find the pirates, or whether there's another in-system encounter.
All right, so 2d6 plus 1, huh?
2d6 plus 1.
9.
9. Okay, so on a 7 plus, do you want to find the pirates, or do you want an in-system encounter?
I think since we've had one instance of encounter, I will say that we should find the pirates.
Okay, and I think that's when you get a ping when most people are off watch. I think Jort is on watch when there's a ping on the passive sensors, and there is a ship where you expect it to be based on the data and profile information you've received from Zalea and the rest of the systems, tracking systems. And that, I think, is where we'll take a break. Yeah. Back in our seats at 5 past the hour. Is that long enough? Okay. See you in a moment. And we're back from our final last commercial break in this episode. Extreme range, in the right place, the right kind of mass for the pirate ship. The simple choice, I suppose, that's based on using your passive sensors. Now you could light yourself up and go active, or you could try to close the range stealthily, or you could just talk to them. I'm just curious what strategy you're going to adopt here. Jort, I mean, you're loyal to the Sword Brotherhood. I'm curious how this plays for you.
I am, and I've also got a clandestine move using precision, which is recon gain information.
Yeah.
I'd like to use that. I'm going to
So
study our passive sensors and try and gain a bit more information than what generally comes up.
okay. I'll give you the roll plus mind. Yeah, do your thing. See what you can get from this from the
Oh, it's plus
information.
precision. Oh no, is it?
No, sneak into an area, I'm afraid.
Okay. Yeah, no, rolls mine's fine.
Well, I mean, in fact, I think
Alan,
probably
it's fine. Don't worry about
sure.
it.
Well, I think it's gather information, to be honest, rather than hack the system, unless you want to actively hack it, and that would risk
Oh,
revealing
yeah, I mean, it
yourself.
says recon gain information.
Yeah, it does, but the fictional positioning is specific.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. 10 plus.
Okay. So discover something useful or specific, and you have advantage to make use of what you've learned. I think based on what you know about the Sword Brotherhood, this is a slightly larger ship than the one you encountered in Xolia. And ships of that size are usually armed with an energy cannon, but not missiles. So you are currently out of range, both you of it and it of you. If you close the range to far, then you would be in range, and so would they. So your weaponry seems evenly matched. Does that seem like a sufficiently useful piece of information?
It does. And sort of whatever we do, we've got advantage.
You have advantage to exploit the fact that you know more about them now than they know about you. What's the plan? Who's our vanguard?
That's me.
So do you have a plan here?
Summon the rest of the crew to the bridge.
Fine.
Crew, assemble.
Chimera, assemble.
So, Jort, do we want to destroy the ship or make it, like shoot their weapons or their drive or something?
I think if we kill Sword Brotherhood, they will be displeased with Jort.
To put it mildly.
Mm. We need to somehow get the money and at least let the men and women go. So
I have a suggestion. I suggest we disable this ship and leave that ship for the people who are seeking their bounty. And then we take the people who are on board that ship and we take them back to that base. And we have them help us destroy that base. And then they can have whatever they want from that base.
Assuming they are happy about us destroying their ship and taking them on board and just doing whatever we please.
They're
Well,
pirates. They know what they got into.
At the risk of falling into planning paralysis again, can I suggest there is a step one in that, which is disable said ship?
Yeah, I think they
and that's not a bad place to start.
Yeah,
wherever you end up, is it?
Yeah.
How about this, my friends? We get them to chase us and we drop big mine out of the back of our ship. They run into mine, disable their ship, and we save them. They owe us.
If only you
we
had
don't
a
have a
mine.
We can build a mine. It's a missile. Just
you don't have any missiles either. You have an energy cannon.
Jort, let's start by disabling the ship, and then we can work out the plan A, B, and C after that.
Yeah, I really wish I hadn't asked who our vanguard was.
Plan A should be to disable their weapons, is what I'm saying.
Well, look. As long as you can give me the fictional positioning for this plan, you could roll the vanguard move, like cause damage to a threat or structure, suppress a threat for now at least, deploy an ally to where you want them. I'm very happy for you to come at this with that if you want it.
So I think we come in the blind sector. Their scanners are just like any good Russian warship can only look in a certain area. So yeah, we're going to come up in up the tailpipe.
I like that.
And pew at a certain range before they sort of we got the drop on them basically. Yeah, so I think that's what we're going to see. We'll maneuver past them nice and stealthy, turn into their tail sector, full thrust, pew pew pew
pew. I like the pew pew part.
Any voices raised against that?
I'm proud to be part of this plan.
Sounds like Jort knows what he's talking about.
Okay, so Jort, you have
the pew pews really sold it.
Jort, you have advantage on this roll. So this sounds like forcefully seize control of a named objective, yeah?
It does.
So that is roll plus force.
3d6.
3d6, take the top two.
A 6 and a 5, so 11 plus 2, 13.
Okay, don't stop showing off with the 13. On 7 plus, choose up to 2 tactical successes that each offer an advantage to be exploited when you and your allies make the final effort to gain the objective. So gain control of, suppress, capture, whatever it is, the ship. That's your objective. So is there anyone who has a particular view about which of those tactical advantages the crew would like? And then we'll come back to Jort for a decision. What are you thinking?
Sorry, is there a list that we're looking at, or just...
Yeah, it's down on row 24 of Jort's character sheet. deploy an ally to where you want them to be, block ways for the threat to escape or retreat, so that might involve taking out their drives, cause damage to a threat or structure, suppress a threat for now, or something else the GM agrees is relevant. Because then
I
we
would
can
say
describe it.
block the escape is at least one of those picks would be my suggestion, but that's just me.
Jort,
Yep.
you have your finger on the button in terms of the plan.
We also don't want them to shoot us, right?
But is something else the GM agrees is relevant? Can somebody think of something else that we want to do that's not on that list?
I
But
mean,
is akin to it.
destroy their weapons.
Well, that would be suppress a threat for now, at least.
Well, destroy is not for now. Destroy is for good.
Yeah, and that's why destroy isn't in the list.
Well, it is. Oh, cause damage to a threat or structure is obviously not destroy. I get you.
So we can either damage them, but ongoing, or we could totally sort of overload their power grid and disable their weapons for a period of time.
You can target their reactor or drives, and you would block ways for the threat to escape or retreat, so they'd be stuck in space.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one.
I think a couple of shots up their tailpipe, disable their drive, and overload their chambers coil. Yeah, that cause a chambers coil overload. That's always important.
Is that suppress a threat for now, at least?
Yeah. They're floating dead for a period of time while they're
It's going to take longer to get their drive up than it is to get the power grid back on and rearm the energy cannon. But right now, that is the situation. So how are you going to actually achieve your objective, which is to, surrender, I guess? Is that the case? So is this about throwing Bryz out the airlock with a hefty shove and putting him aboard, or what?
It does sound very persuasive.
We've hit them big. Can anybody just talk them down?
Yeah, I can talk them down if we agree that they are now in a victim state.
Deceive a victim that the
they are the victim of our attack.
They are anything but trusting.
They're not trusting, aren't
I
they?
can just manipulate behavior.
You can.
Cool.
Yeah, Pleasant is our face, undoubtedly. So Pleasant, this sounds like advocate. What are you hoping to achieve here?
So what we've talked a lot about what's going on. What do we actually need to have happen here? The bare minimum to get our money.
The ship needs to be taken by the hub authorities.
Okay. Gosh, then I feel like,
just to be clear, by the time the hub authorities get here, they will have repaired the ship.
We could tell them that we're going to swing round and hit them with another blast if they're disabled. Basically, they stand zero chance.
No, Pleasant's not asking for leverage. Pleasant's asking, what's the outcome?
Well, what we want is to take them on board and bring them to the station. So persuade them to leave the ship, because otherwise we will destroy it.
Exactly. Like, hello, friends. We have disabled you. The next shot is to kill. We would prefer if you're not on the ship at that point. We know piracy is no one's first choice, and it should not be what dooms you.
I think this is inspire surrender. Yeah. So I think this is role plus influence, Pleasant.
Okay, it's good.
Oh, you have advantage because the outcome of the Vanguard is advantage.
Should I
that's
roll
a good
one
thing.
Additional dice?
Just roll one extra dice. Yeah, we've got a 6 in our hands.
I like that 6. I'll take that 6. Come on.
Yeah, that extra 1 will make a big difference. So that 7 becomes a 7. So persuade on a 7+, they see you're right and act accordingly. So I think probably that the leader of the Sword Brothers aboard, a guy called Cast, the ship is called Cast, so is he, says, okay,
Easy to remember.
but on a 7 to 9, it's fleeting. You're not entirely certain how reliable that surrender is going to be, Pleasant.
Yeah, we got them out of the ship, but they may not be pacified.
They agree, but there's something in the tone of voice that says, very good, you have us absolutely down. We don't want to be taken by the hub, so you're saying you will transport us away? That's fine. We have no other option here. It just sounds a little bit too good to be true, Pleasant. So you might need to turn, you need to be aware there's a risk here.
Yeah. As soon as they get on the Chimera, though, they'll see Jort and be like, okay, no, we're not going to mutiny your ship. Because
Well, I will say
Bryz
that, of
in
course,
power armor.
Can I step
Bryz?
in and say, look, we can get eventually to a fight on these things, but we've got a bounty here for the ship because of the stuff that you've been doing. However, we have an opportunity to offer you. We have found a blacked out
Jihun?
Jihun base that is not far away from this present location. And we were thinking about dropping in on them and tearing some shit up. And we will split that with you. And if there's anything transport vehicle or even comms back to your people wise, you can have that.
This sounds like convince and compel to me.
It is.
Because I don't think you've got anything more specific, have you?
No, I think the support, I think this is me aiding an ally is what this is. Because I want to push his result up.
Fair enough. Okay, go with that. That sounds like intellect, knowledge, focus, no, it doesn't really. I
Command,
think this is
deception, and
sociability.
sociability.
Yeah,
I
think it's
am
sociability.
nothing except that.
Yeah,
So,
roll plus influence. Let's turn that 7 to 9 into a 10.
So that is a 9.
That is a 9. Okay, on a 7 plus, improves by 1 step. Fine. 7 to 9, you suffer any cost attached to their original outcome. This could turn nasty for you, Bryz. Quite how, we don't know yet.
I think that at some point I say my last name.
Fine.
How's that sound?
Yeah.
And you have the show family guarantee that we're not.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Is that the cadence shows? Yeah, no, that's fine. And I think we see the ships docked, and you can see the crew is coming aboard. There are 8 of them. You have nowhere to put 2 of them.
Do we have a cargo bay?
You have an empty cargo bay right now.
Here's what I say to them. Come on board, suit it up, and then we're going to lock them in the cargo bay until time, with the admonition that it would be very easy for us to pop you out into space should things go badly.
Yeah, it would. I do have a map in development for the Chimera.
Okay.
So we will see how easy it would be. So they're in the cargo hold. You have security systems, so if something gets nasty, you've got options to do stuff. And set off back to the Jihun station. Yeah, I'm thinking let's get as far as that, and then we'll see what happens next time. But let's see, who hasn't yet piloted us somewhere? I don't think Bryz has.
I have.
Oh, yes, you took us to, yeah.
Jort hasn't.
Jort has not rolled plus drive to get to a named location, the covert Jihun station.
So there's no player stat in this, it's a ship stat.
It's a ship stat. Roll plus drive, roll plus 1.
Okay. Oh, a 2 and a 4, but I do get +1. 7.
On a 7+, choose you arrive at your stated destination or there's an in-system encounter.
Let's get this done and dusted. We'll go for the...
You arrive at extreme range of the Jihun station, but on 7 to 9, either the ship arrives at the destination with 1 stress due to wear and tear. Yes, I think I'd like the ship to
because
arrive.
we're towing another ship, aren't we?
No, you're not. You've left the ship.
No, we've left that. Okay.
And I'm guessing broadcast to the HASA enforcement where they can pick it up. Yeah. And as soon as they've got it, they'll transfer the funds for the bounty. And of course, you will have said we found it disabled and abandoned. But that's, you know, how could we deal with that? So yes, 1 stress. I'm going to apply 1 stress to. I think this probably has to go to the reactor, you know. You've just pushed the reactor a little bit far. So current, I'm going to knock it. Oh, sorry, I've not updated these. I should have done. So reactor is normally +1. I've knocked it down to 0. So don't try to outrun anything in a hurry, is my advice. So, and of course, repairs do cost. But enough of that. So there's the Jihun station. Dark, just sitting there. Crew, you're guessing less than 20. There are 8 pirates and the 4 of you. And I think that's the obvious place to pause unless there's something any one of you wants to do right now. Horst, what about Pax? Does Pax got a plan? What about Jort?
Not wanting to be a hogger of the limelight, but I mean, I could easily insert these guys a roll-on clandestine to get an advantage rolling forwards, and then Vanguard deploy an ally to where you want them. That's open the cargo hold. That, you know, Bryz has already got them suited up. This is just a stealth boarding action by the pirates. I actually don't think we need to really get that involved.
Okay. That's the
I
plan.
have a question for Bryz. I mean, is the plan to fuck shit up, or is the plan to loot this? Where's the like?
Are you asking what Bryz's plan is?
Yes, I'm like
Bryz's plan is to fuck shit up.
Well,
that like literally Bryz's plan is that whatever else you all want to do,
like there must be goods, there must be wares, there's cargo that we can sell. Like
that's exciting. I didn't think of that.
Well,
let's try to grab that stuff then.
Where's your mercantile mind? Do you want to live in this tin can forever? So my idea would be, we can do that next time if you want. But
yeah, we'll do it next time.
Suggestion is
we'll see what we find.
Well,
we got a couple of good plans.
I am very
happy
good. For us to get as far as operating the plan, and then
we'll deal. I'd like to hold off on the plan if we could. We'll start out. I don't want to halvesies it. Let's come back. I love the idea of clandestine insertion. Us coming in, me breaking some things. Maybe there's some goods. We get a vase or something. You know.
I will just say, Paul, mechanically, an ally means an ally, not 8 pirates.
They do the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, just so you're aware, it's an individual ally. So yeah, let's call it there for this episode then. So there's the station. Roll it 8 times, yeah. There's the station. It's still dark, apparently defenseless. Bryz is keen to kill some oligarchs. Jort is perhaps hoping to pay a debt to the Sword Brotherhood out of this, maybe. I don't know. And Pax just wants to get out the system, if that's okay. And Pleasant, I mean, who are the underdogs in this situation? I'm not certain. Are there any underdogs in this situation, Pleasant?
I mean, it's not those guys. Like,
So
I think Pax wants their goods. I want their intelligence. What are they doing out here in this research station?
Fair enough. So it would be good if the pirates didn't run a complete rampage. Fine. Let's pick up with that next time. But let's do end of session EP. XP. So let's see. We're down on row 66. Let's start with Bryz. I carried my burden for good or ill. Possibly ill, because most people in Ceti Rho knows that there's one of the Cadence shows in town.
Yeah.
So you can have that one. I suffered a loss, defeat, or a setback. I'm not sure anything went
I
particularly
don't think I
badly.
did.
No,
No.
no. My origin mattered for good or ill. I think
Yeah.
it did. That's too close to burden. I must change that one. I claimed a victory for myself and or the ship.
Absolutely.
You found a job, and the job has gone pretty well, largely because you've been kept away from the piloting controls, but that's fine. And I championed an ally and let them shine. You just did that thing. So I think that is 4 XP for you. So that's the 2 that remain. Gain an improvement and 2 left. Yeah, two overflow.
Interesting. Yeah.
Make a note at the bottom about advancement, and then have a look at what the sorry, it's improvement in the tab. Have a look at the improvement tab, see if that makes sense to you. If not, catch up in the chat. Let's move along to Jort. Jort, I carried my burden for good or ill. Yes, I think you did, because the whole sword brother thing is a complication that's working here. I suffered a loss, defeat, or a setback. Did anyone fail any rolls tonight that I noticed?
No, it was only cramped quarters that everybody failed.
Yeah, yeah. And because
Well,
no one
not
was
everyone.
damaged,
Oh, well,
it
yeah.
made no difference. My origin mattered for good or ill. Again, I think that the indentured, the relationship with the
Yeah.
indentured Cancri, yeah, I give you a tick for that third one. I claimed a victory for myself or the ship. I think
I
the whole...
tailpiped.
You
That was me.
tailpiped the Sword Brothers. That is not a phrase I ever expected to say, but that is what you did. I championed an ally and let them shine. I don't know.
No.
No. Okay, so you get 3 XP today, which I don't know how many you had. Fills the
That's it.
track? Fine. So erase that, make a note at the bottom about you have an improvement in cunning. Pleasant. Pleasant. Let's look at you. I carried my burden for good or ill. I think you opened the box on the empathy virus and
Okay.
you know the logistics. So I think I give you the benefit of doubt on that one. Loss, defeat, or a setback?
No,
Nah,
we're just that good.
you're just that good. Yeah, my origin mattered for good or ill. The crowded, yeah, using the crowded location on the stranger's deck on the Zalea, I think is fair. I claimed a victory for myself and or the ship. You did get them to listen when you disabled the ship, at least that. I championed an ally and let them shine. Don't know.
I can't recall a time.
No, no. So I think that's 3 XP. That fills the track with 1 overflow. Make a note at the bottom of improvement and check out what the improvement tab says. And finally, Paxed. Paxed. I carried my burden for good or ill. Yeah, the whole, I'm a heretic, but I have to pretend to be a higher level priest than most people around here. There's balls in that. I suffered a loss or defeat or a setback. Not conscious
Don't
of
think
one.
so.
My origin mattered for good or ill. I think you brought some knowledge of the system and how it worked and ranks and stuff, and helped me kind of expand our understanding of the society. So bang on for that. I claimed a victory for myself and or the ship. Don't know.
I can't recall.
I don't. Nothing's coming to mind.
I sort of feel like the impersonation would count as a victory for yourself. Like you were worried about this system and you're all tied up in knots, and then you come in and you're just like ice skating through.
Yeah, I suppose I've allocated that to burden and or origin.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
already
Feels
got 2 XP for that thing.
So I think the third one might be pushing it too far. I championed an ally and let them shine.
Don't think so.
No, I'm struggling a bit. Okay, so 2 XP. Erase those and put another 2 in the track. So quick stars and wishes. I've got last week's, which was character interaction. We got a bit of that. we got a bit of a flashback to playing a torture. I mean, we skated close to a line there, and I'm struggling with with cannibalism.
Well,
There was
let me go then on
Okay.
wishes. Okay, looking at the green things on the safety and links tab, an abandoned station running dark, and you cannot tick infection, plague, horror, gore, cannibalism. If you can't get them in there, Alan, you is doing something wrong.
Let's see, shall we? What has happened to the Jihun? Okay, but go on then, Paul. I've got your wishes.
Yeah,
Any
a
stars?
really enjoyable session. You know, I loved the interplay between characters. You know, I really liked the cramped crew conditions, and I think Horst played Dr. Pax really well in that scene. And I really liked the bar scene between, even though I wasn't involved in it, between Pleasant and Bryz. I thought that was a good scene.
And wishes, anything in green, in the we'd like to see.
Exactamundo,
Okay.
yes. Top of the list being cannibalism.
Oh, of course, yeah, that's still on the shelf from last time. Don't worry about that. Okay, let's move along. Keith, any stars, any wishes?
I liked seeing in action, right? Like I feel like we haven't had that before, so it was cool to see. And how simple it was, because I feel like there's a lot of possible mechanics, but we're doing stuff and it's just click, click, click. That was nice. I would say wish-wise, I would like to see overarching stuff develop, so it isn't just sort of things happen. And I think that is coming. But I'm interested to see it coalesce.
What I'm writing down is start joining the dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to know if Bryz gave me his blood or not.
Oh, yes.
Not now.
Yeah. Once you get a 10 on cramped quarters and start on the project, obviously he will have come across, but we'll see how that goes.
Well, no, I know I need to focus the advancements.
Now I need Lowell, any stars, any wishes?
Really enjoyed the chance to do that interactions with characters. This all felt really good. You know, it's tough when you're forced into situations where you kind of have to have that friction between PCs. But I thought that was handled well throughout, like a good balance of pushing against one another, but also realizing it's in character. So that felt really good. I liked having plans and those plans coming together. I appreciate you stopping us when we were going too far down the planning track. Because I can see that happening. Generally enjoyed it. The overall the play of everything. Lots of good scenes. We were in different places. We did different things. I like that. In terms of wishes, not sure. I think I have anything that is off the top of my head, wishes wise. I hope all 8 of these pirates don't get killed in what we're doing. It would be nice to at least save one of them.
Pirate survivor. ... Okay. Well, I think there is. I think there is a move. The basic combat move says something like, or one of the moves says something like, or do you sacrifice a bystander or collateral damage? So maybe we'll throw some hard choices in there. And finally, Horst, any stars, any wishes?
My stars is for the use of random tables, which I champion because it gave us the the bounty and the blacked out station, and that is like interesting to allow that the good idea, another star, to combine these two things. So I like the kind of emergent storytelling from randomness and players reacting cleverly to it. And wishes, well, we had bounty and we had smuggling. I think I want to sell shit to people for profit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I see no reason why you shouldn't carry an ordinary And of course, you know, once if you can get out of breaking even to breaking even, then important deliveries, rescue operations, mercenary works, a whole range of additional job options open up to people of your standing. Any wishes, Horst?
Oh, apart from that, well, my wish is to have like improve our ship, I think.
Well, repair it first, because you know you stressed the reactor on that trip.
We need
those pirates are heavier than they look.
Yeah, I think it would be cool. Well, that's not really a wish. That's up to us. But to build like crew quarters or quarters where we can get passengers. Passengers is always fun. The social interaction, you know, the secrets that they have.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, technically, you can do that now. There are those 2 empty bunks, you know. So
That's not the kind of passengers I want. I want you know,
okay.
luxury quarters or something.
Okay, we'll see what we can do in terms of any once you start spending stuff. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording there, but before I do, can I just check in you're okay with me posting this? I thank you for those thumbs. Let's stop the recording.